These are the habits and the life hacks that shape my life. Let me say this in the douchiest way possible. As a multi-millionaire who's built 4 successful businesses, obviously I'm doing a lot right. And if you want to be successful too, you better get with the program. A lot of people online probably want to say it to you like that. There's a lot of hard truths about habits and life hacking and success. And yes, there is a small amount of truth in that phrase. I am a millionaire. I've built 4 successful businesses. I took a year off last year and still made $3 million taking a year off. I've done it. And there's things that I've done that can help you do it too your way. And that's one of the biggest things about this video. Your way is going to be different than mine. So let me give you everything that I can give you and choose from it what works best for you. All right, YouTube world, the whole point of this is to create momentum, efficiency while protecting your body and your mind. That's my philosophy to this. The world is a hard place to exist in. It's even harder to succeed in and stay sane at the same time. We've seen some successful people completely blow their top because it really wears down on you. You also need to know kind of when to take some R&R. So what I've done is I've tried to create a life that's authentic to me, that's easy to live in, and that maximizes my strengths, helps avoid some of my weaknesses, and calls upon some really cool people to help offset some of those weaknesses. What I think is most important for you to start with is building a platform of protecting your body and your mind as you get to work and try to fight your way through the gladiatorial arena that is capitalism. Let's start with routine. And the truth about routine is there's no millionaire morning hack. If you do these 5 things and eat oats through your left nostril, you're going to make $1 million. That's not how this works. The point of habits is it takes away some of the inertia every day. And in case you don't understand the concept of inertia, in physics, things just keep moving or they don't move unless you apply force to them. And sometimes, like pushing a ball uphill, it requires more force in which to move something. And what we're really trying to do, metaphorically speaking, is create a downward slope where we can get our morning started, build momentum in an easy way, and then attack the whole day. Tony Robbins would say, do the hardest thing first, for example. That's not one of my routines, by the way. I don't do the hardest thing first. I barely do anything first, but we'll get into that. The morning starts the night before. One of the biggest things that I've seen an improvement with is practicing the power of intention before going to bed. Maybe it's just that I'm ADHD and this really works for someone like me. I don't remember my dreams very often, by the way. Not sure if that's related, but before I go to bed, if I know I'm going to have a big day the next day, I make it a point to talk myself through mentally what that day is going to be and what I'm going to do step by step or priority by priority for the first 6 or something hours of the day. And this helps keep me organized before I go to bed, so that way if I wake up and even have a tinge of feeling, say overwhelmed, I don't have to think about it because I've already made the decision. And a lot of habits do this exact same thing. It takes the thinking out of the action. So when the morning starts, I've got this rule. I wake up without an alarm. I wake up to the sun. I wake up with my body. However long my body wants to sleep, I let it sleep. But the moment I wake up, I'm doing my best to create this agreement with myself, which is that when I wake up, stand up. That's it. Just get up and go. Now what this does is this minimizes the amount of time wasted laying in bed looking at your phone being sleepy. See, if you wake up to an alarm, you're going to wake up in an improper part of your sleep cycle. You're going to wake up with like this adrenal dump. It's going to feel yuck. And you're not going to want to get out of bed. You're going to dread starting your day that way. So finding a way to kill the alarm and wake up with your body, wake up naturally is probably the best way to start on the right foot. But then also, if you wake up and make a habit of laying around, you can kill an hour a day. You can kill 360 hours a year laying around in your bed too long. A thing that I've added, not every day, but more often than not now, is a longevity practice. Like I said, guard your body for life. We're only working to become successful so that way we have more options. We're not trying to become successful at the expense of our body. We're trying to take care of our body so we can be rich, successful, happy, well-balanced, not rich, old, fat, sad. So the thing that I've been incorporating into my mornings is I'm trying to take a cold shower, even just 30 seconds or 45 seconds. I want to activate thermogenesis. It's good for longevity. It's good for your dopamine. It's good for cellular health. And so I'm just getting in the shower and I'm turning the shower on while under the shower and letting those cold pipes hit me. Sure, it could be colder. I started doing this in San Cristobal de las Casas in Mexico when I took a month traveling in Mexico that year I took off. And trust me, the water there was way colder than it is here, but it still causes this hyperventilation, like stress response that we're looking for. Another thing I've done is I'm adding water in multiple rooms of my home. Now, part of the reason why is I live in a 3-bedroom penthouse and there's a lot of square footage here. So I've got a water filter in the kitchen, but I've added a water filter in my master bathroom. So that way when I get up, I can drink water in the morning while going through like that morning routine, where my shower is, where my supplements are. I wanted a water filter in there. And this leads me to another thing, which is guiding your body to make the right decisions. If you've got water lying around everywhere, it's going to be easy to stay hydrated. Another thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stage my life by putting all the things that matter most to me in front of me. And you can do this with your food, you can do this with supplements, you can do this with reading material, choices of activities. So I've got my supplements in my bathroom counter, so that way when I wake up and I go to drink water, supplements are right there. I'm trying to get rid of all the junk food in my life. I'm actually trying to get rid of all the bread in my life, stuff like that. So trying to keep that stuff out of my cabinets, out of my fridge, off my kitchen island. These are the ways that I'm going to avoid more and more bad decisions. Of course, I have a vice, coffee. I love it. Now I will try to justify this and say that people who drink 3 cups of coffee a day, there's a study that says they're 16% less likely to die of all causes in old age. So go coffee. Another thing is my second cup of coffee usually leads me to the gym. Instead of hitting the gym right now, I'm talking to you, but I plan on hitting the gym after this. Coffee's my pre-workout. I go in and get fit, try to stay active. I do a lot of powerlifting, a lot of shorter lift sessions. I learned from a program called M140, bodybuilder guy. He says you want to keep your lifts under 40 minutes anyway, because your cortisol level starts to rise if you live too long. So I'm just trying to keep my body active, keep my body healthy, and then I'll come back here and get my supplements in. Yes, I do things like peptides. I take supplements. No, peptides aren't necessarily PEDs, but they're proteins that your body needs. And as we get older, our body gets less and less peptides. There's one called Epithalon, which is actually one that lengthens your telomeres, for example. And there's one called MOT-SC, which if you take enough of it, is good for cardiovascular health. So there are peptides on the planet that aren't crazy like HGH or something like that. Now, they say you should be reading a half an hour every day. There was a study that's done about the 20 main differences between poor people and millionaires, and reading was the biggest gap, where like over 90% of millionaires read at least half an hour a day, and like less than 1% or something like that of people who are poor read a half an hour a day, and that's huge. I think that this study is a little too old for the era of internet that we're in. I think feeding your mind is important, and we need to do it through writing. I think we need to be looking at words and using that part of the brain. So watching YouTube videos is a great way to learn, but we also should be reading like online blogs, educational stuff. You should still be reading. It just doesn't have to be a book or a newspaper. I think there are parts of the brain that are activated while reading that you just don't get through this. Maybe if you put subtitles on these videos, you can count it as 30 minutes of reading. I'm also doing more and more work to try to control the sense of my space. Hard way to put it, but I've got a green room, which is a very relaxing space. So that way, if I'm feeling overstimulated, I can go sit in this room and chill. There's something in a book that I constantly recommend. That book is the great courses, Critical Business Skills for Success. They talk about a strategic stop, which is if you've been grinding for half the day, you might lose track of what you strategically were trying to do for the day. So you need to stop, meditate, kind of kill all the busy work and all that anxiety and all the like stress hormones that might have creeped in from earlier in the day, and try to reintroduce what your priorities are. Having a midday stop to reintroduce your priorities allows you to finish the day on the right foot instead of getting caught up in some weird task. And trust me, as an ADHD guy, this really helps. I've done the same thing with my bathroom recently. I think it looks really cool. And yes, I do use this gigantic bathtub and soak and chill sometimes. And I think this level of care is important, but I have made a realization that I want to share with you, which is the cells in your body are pretty simple. If you go to sleep and get some rest, you should be rested. If you sit down and relax your body, you should be able to be relaxed. But if your mind is constantly worried or stressed about things that need to get done or the pressures of your life, then you won't get a chance to relax because the hormones and chemicals in your body are conflicting with your attempt to rest. It's like people who have weekends off, but then they don't feel any more rejuvenated when they get back to work on a Monday. This is because people are stuck in a cycle where they can't catch their breath. You need to learn mindfulness practices, meditation, self-regulation. It might sound mystical, but your brain is a really powerful tool. And if you don't understand it, it's going to control you instead of you controlling it. Much like your ego. I've noticed a lot lately that when you see your ego as a separate entity, almost like a voice that tries to advocate on your behalf or protect you from feeling insecure or bad about something, and you can logically say, oh, my ego wants me to feel better about the situation, instead of you existing in your ego and going, I'm not at fault for that. I'm a good person. If you can step outside of your ego, there's a lot of personal growth that will come from that. And that is a completely different video. And we might talk about that in the future, because I think stepping outside of your ego is a key practice that any CEO should be able to do. Now, this is something that may not apply directly to you, but I encourage it, which is take time for a creative activity. You may not think that you're creative, but all humans are capable of creation, and you should practice some form of creative hobby, whether it's painting, whether it's music, my piano's right here, whether it's writing a story, journaling. Anything where your mind has to create something new will activate a part of your brain that's great for innovation and for problem solving. And trust when I tell you, if you want to be a successful business owner, leader, high-performing individual, problem solving is one of the greatest mental attributes that you can have going forward in capitalism. I think one day soon I'm going to give you guys a tour of this place. I think I'm overdue to give you a tour. Just painted that back wall, as you can tell. I think it's almost ready for you guys to catch eyes on the whole thing. If you guys have any questions beyond this like morning-based conceptual part of my routine, feel free to ask in the comments. I do want to leave you with the moral of the story of this, which is that it's not your goal to create some rigid habit that you're stuck to, but make sure that you include time to take care of your body and your mind in a way that you don't have to decide to do it every morning. You're just going to do it. And you can also, with the power of intention from the night prior, like I said, make it so that way you don't need to think about the tasks that you're going to do. You're going to get up every morning and do the right thing. You're going to take care of your body, your mind. You're going to get started on a task without having to critically think about any of the three. That way, hopefully you're halfway through the day and well into success and have built up a bunch of momentum before you have to make a difficult decision. It's the momentum that will drive you through the rest of the day. And remember, you have to stay happy. None of this works if you're not happy. And that's the whole point of doing any of this, is to get to a position in life where you're just consistently happy. Thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.